Hi, I'm Lindsay from Shreve Memorial Library and welcome to Art Club. Today we're going to do something similar to what we did 2 weeks ago, and we are going to make another felt Christmas ornament. But this time we're going to do it a little bit differently. I'm not doing a traceable for this one, and there's no template because this is one where you make your own and you make up your own. So I figured it might be fun just to do a plain embroidered one, not a bunch of layers. Just make it as simple as you want to make it. And this is going to be a cat ornament. I like to have ornaments for each of my animals. And Oliver, my orange and white cat, we didn't have this time last year, and he doesn't have his own ornament. He was still at the rescue then. I'll put his picture here. He's a lovely kitty, and he needs his own ornament. So I'm going to make a cat ornament today. Now this is just showing you generally how to do this. You should make one for your own cat or your own dog. I'm going to draw a general cat head today. If you want a dog head, you can totally search. I would search like dog felt ornament on Pinterest or something. You can just copy that outline, or a hamster, or whatever kind of pet you have. This will be fun. Here's what you need. I have some felt. I have some fiberfill to make it puffy. You don't have to use this. You can use cloth or really like tissue paper, whatever you have to stuff it a little bit. I have embroidery thread, whatever kind. He's orange and white, so I'm using white felt and orange embroidery thread. I'm not going to make it complicated with a bunch of different colors. You need a needle, preferably with a pretty big eye on it. Scissors. I'm going to use cardstock. You can use regular paper. You need something to draw a template on before you put it on the felt. And you can hang it with embroidery thread. I have this fun Christmas stuff that I enjoy, so I'm going to hang it with that. And yeah, that's all we need. This is going to be super simple and really fun, and we're going to learn how to do the blanket stitch. First things first, we're going to draw a template, and this is just going to be, the main thing that we're going to cut two out of. You can do it any shape you want. It doesn't have to be an animal. It can be a round ball. It can be whatever you want. Just remember, when you stuff it, it becomes a little bit smaller, so draw it a little bit bigger than you want it to end up being. And I'm just using a pen. This is just going to be used to cut stuff out, so there are mistakes and scribbles. That's okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's see, I want my ornament to be about, seems about good. Make it a little bit bigger than that, so I'll say from here to about here, okay? And I'm going to make it oval, so from here to about here, okay? So I'm going to do ears. I'm going to do my lines curvy because it'll be easier, and I think it'll look better at the end. Ears. And see, I'm so not worried about scribbles. I do want to be sure which one I'm going to cut. So this comes down here, and this comes down here. Like that looks about good. Now I just want to be crystal clear which ones I'm cutting. Okay, and my plans for embroidery, you don't need to do this part. I want to give him happy eyes, probably bigger than that. And we're going to embroider a little nose like that, and give him a little smile. And Ollie's mostly white, but he has orange on a bunch of his head, so I'm just going to do a line. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do, kind of goes like this, and over his nose and back down like that. And we might do ears, we'll see. And this will be a line of embroidery too. But we're not going to cut out all of that. We just need the head shape. So I'm going to cut out the head shape. Here's my kitty head. All I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it over, and this is going to be the front. I'm just doing it because I know it's not completely symmetrical, and it looks kind of weird when it's this way. So I'm just going to do this. We'll cut out and this will be the front. So what you need to do is trace around this twice. I'm just using a pen. You can use whatever will catch on the fabric. A Sharpie would work fine. I'm going to trace around this. I'm going to trace around 2 of these. One for the front and one for the back. And then I'm going to cut it out. Okay, let's see. This will be my front and this will be my back. Like that. But we're not ready for that yet. We have to do whatever we're going to do to the top bit before we attach them. So I'm going to get a needle and my embroidery floss, and I'm going to thread the needle with the embroidery floss, which will be fun. Okay, I've threaded my needle. Try and get enough thread that you don't think you'll need more for a while, just because it's hard to thread the needle with this. At least it is for me. Anyway, I'm going to make a little knot. This is just like we did before toward the end. I'm actually going to cut that a little shorter, okay? And I'm going to, let's see, I'm just going to follow this, okay? If you want to, you can, and really if you've used regular paper, 2 art clubs ago, and when we embroidered art club on something like the words, we used paper, and you can go through like that, or else like me, you can eyeball it. I am going to start with the ears, and I'm just going to do the same back stitch that I did before. I'm going to start at a corner. Oh, and don't go too close to the edge, because that's where the blanket stitch is going to be. So I'm starting at a corner. Actually, okay. I'll go forward 1 stitch like that. And then I'm going to start back stitching. And all that is, okay, I'm going to go past this one just to make sure you can see. Go past here, okay? Pull that through. This is Ollie helping. He's an excellent helper. Do not steal my fiber fill, please. Okay, so I went past it. And then I'm going to go right to where this stitch stopped and go back. So that's the back stitching part. Just like that. And keep going until it's high enough, and remember, just don't stay away from the tippy top and the edges as much as you can, just because blanket stitch. And we'll get to that in a minute. Here is the first little ear bit. Now if I was using a more, oh, that's not bad. Okay, so here's my first little ear bit. I'm not going to go straight over to the other side because I want to maximize my thread. So here's what I'm going to do. I don't want to have to restart thread and such. I'm going to decide where the eye starts. So I'm just going to do this kind of situation. Okay, I'm going to decide where the eye starts. I'm going to do that by looking through here. One thing that you can do, if you can see the edge, is poke it through paper a little lower, so you can see where on. That looks about right. Yeah, okay. So you can kind of see where the hole was, so you can see where to start. I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. Okay, I'm going to bring that down, and just because I want to start where I'm starting. Now don't pull it so tight that it kinks up the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to go 1 forward. This is, I know, technically probably the wrong way to do it, but that's the way I'm doing it. Okay, so you do 1 forward, And then start back stitching. You can do the eyes in any shape you want. I'm just having happy closed eyes because it's easier than putting whole eyes in there. And so I'm just going to do a little arch. And don't worry about getting any of this perfect, because I think the fun in these really is their imperfection, that they're handmade, completely handmade, and not, you know, something you just bought at the store. I think that definitely makes them more special. I would much rather have something that is imperfect and handmade on my tree than something I just bought at the store. Okay. One more. Okay. There's one eye. Now, let's see. Now we can do the nose. And here's how I'm going to do it. Okay. I'll start here. Let's see. It starts a little bit below, about here or so. I'm just going to bring that stitch down. Okay, and I'm going to embroider the nose. Let's see. I'm going to do that by doing this. So I'm going to go all the way across the area that I want the nose to cover at the widest point up here, okay? And then I'm just going to do little circles. I want it narrower at the top. I'm not worried about what the back of this thing looks like. It won't look good, but that's okay. And I'm just going to cover the space. It doesn't need to be perfect, and the main thing is don't pull it so tight that you pull your fabric. So you need your fabric to lay flat. So I'm not even worried about getting this perfect. I just want the shape of it. So, let's see. There's generally the shape of it, okay? But now you can go back in with that a little bit wider, and you can fill it in some if you want, or you can leave it like this. And I'm going to fill it in just a little bit by just going between these threads. And there's my cute little orange nose. You don't have to do this all in the same color. You can use different colors. You can give them a pink nose. That's cool too. Okay, so I'm going to do there's the nose. I'm going to come down here. I'm just going to bring my thread down. This is really super cheaty if you're going for pure embroidery, but it's getting the job done. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to start the mouth. Okay, so I'm going to back stitch one straight up under the nose and then do two more little arches about, I mean, really kind of like the eyes were, just upside down. There's one. I'm just going to go back to the center a little off and do the other side. Isn't this turning out super cute? Okay, so there's the mouth. I end up trimming the bottom of this a little bit, but we'll see. Now I'm going to come back up here. I'm just going to bring my thread right on up, right here. Okay, I'm going to make another eye. I'm going to go forward one and then start back stitching and make the rest of this eye, and just try and mirror that, but it does not need to be perfect. There's the eye. That not super cute. Okay, now I'm going to go, just going to bring this up here and do the ear just exactly the same as I did this one. There's the ear. I love this thing. I love doing this. Okay, so I still have this bit to do, and I'm worried about the length of this. Well, press our luck. So again, this is my cat's coloring. You can do whatever. If you have a tabby cat, you can put an M up there and do that part. You can do whatever you want. I'm just gonna do this part. I'm gonna bring my thread down and do this. And remember, you don't have to go all the way to the edge because that's where the blanket stitch is gonna be. So this starts really about level with this eye. So I'm just going to back stitch in the shape of where the orange is on Ollie, and if I run out of thread, I run out of thread, and I will just rethread my needle. Okay, so I'm getting there. At this point I've decided I was cutting it too short, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tie this one off, and the way I do that is I just go back into like a couple stitches back. Yeah, see? This will work though. Okay? And then I'm going to make a loop and make a knot in the loop. Just like that, and pull it tight. Okay? Now I'm going to just run this through some stitches. Make sure you're not going through the other side, and pull it out. Okay, now I'm going to rethread my needle. I got a lot again because I'm hoping I can get around the edge with this. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before and tie a knot toward the end, just like that. And then I'm going to go back to right past where I was and just continue over to the rest of the line. There's the face. This is super cute. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to continue this. There's a little jump in that, but that's okay. If you want to start with fresh pieces of thread or use a different color, that's fine. All I'm going to do is I'm going to sandwich these together just like this. And you might want to cut off, like I see some inky bits on here. I'm going to cut those off really fast, just so black isn't showing through on my white. Okay, so there's that. I already have my thread. If you are starting a new one, put a knot in the thing somewhere. So here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to sew around, and then I'm going to leave a little gap so we can stuff it. So I'm starting here, okay? And I'm going to bring this through the other side like that. Okay, and we're going to do what's called a blanket stitch. All I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loop to start here, I guess. Okay. Then I'm going to put this through that little loop. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go a little bit over, just like that. Okay. I'm going to do this. We'll leave that space for stuffing, I guess. Oop. Okay, and then I'm going to loop through here and pick this up. And I come back. You see how that's working? There's a line around the edge. Oops. Nothing. There's a line around the edge like that, and then the loops are going kind of vertically into it. Okay, so I'm going to try and do them about the same distance apart and about the same height. I'm going to go all the way around, so I'm just putting this back in here from the top. Okay, just like that, and then picking up this little loop here, just like that. One more. This here. Okay, it's called a blanket stitch. And put needle through the hoop. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to go all the way around until about here or so. So I just realized something. I at least wanted the date on this, and I forgot to put the date on it. So I'm not done going around, and since I'm not, I still have access to the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this in, just like that. Hopefully, if you wanted to embroider something on the back, you have already done that. But alas, so here's what we're going to do. I want the date on here. So I have this, it's just open, and I'm going to do my best, and just like I did the last one, start here like that, and I am just going to back stitch just like I've been doing a small 20-20 on the back of this head, and since I'm using the same thread, I'm just where I was, so don't stress about it. If you want to add something to the back, go to. If you don't, then don't worry about it. Okay, someday I'll be very glad I took the time to do that. So I'm short on thread to get all the way around there, so I'm going to do the same thing I did before and tie it off. Just going to go to a stitch right below it, and I'm going to make a little knot. I have enough. I might go through twice. Slowly bring it down there, and then go, just kind of weave it in. And after this, I am going to reload my needle. So I've rethreaded my needle. I'm going to tie another little knot. Okay, I want the knot to be inside. So pull it through like that. Make sure this part is inside. Okay, and I'm going to pick this last little loop up here. Okay. And then I'm going to go around this one again. Okay, you see it's just kind of continuing. It looks like it's just continuing the same piece of thread. I'm going to do the next one. Now we're continuing just like we went all the way around before. See, it looks like the same piece of thread. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to finish. I'm going to go to about here or so, and then we'll stuff it. Okay, I've left about an inch here, just enough for me to stick my finger in well enough, or I'll stick the end of a pin in, and I'm going to stuff it a little bit. Again, you don't have to use this stuff specifically. You can use thread, you can use old t-shirt, you can use tissue paper, you can use whatever you want to stuff it, and don't stuff it too much, just stuff it a little bit. Okay, so this guy's stuffed enough, and all I'm going to do now is continue around the edge until I get here. So I've reached the end, and what I'm going to do here is I am going to grab this, I'm going to loop through this first one, okay, it's like that, and then I'm going to make a little knot like that, okay. I'm going to go one more time, and then just make sure I've got a nice little knot here, okay. Then I'm going to do what I did the last time. I'm going to pull it in, just insert it into the middle, pull it out, somewhere on the other side. Make sure it doesn't knot on one end. Just like that. See how I have it over here? All I'm going to do is pull it a little bit tight, not terribly. Cut it off short, and then it will just be in the ornament. Is that not super cute? Oh my gosh! I love it. So you can just make sure your threads look like you want them to. You can move stuffing around if you need to do that. And here it is. Now, I don't know. I think I might want to keep the orange thread instead of doing Christmas thread. So all I'm going to do is just go down like this, just a little ways onto it. Grab my thread. Don't lose your needle. Okay, and then decide how long you want your loop. I'll have mine about here, and then tie a little knot like that. Cut it off, and here's my ornament. I think this is so cute, and it was really simple if you think about it. It takes a while to do these things. Like these, have some patience when you make these. They're, you know, I've never made one without some kind of knot, and having to get that out. And then, you know, you realize you didn't do something, but at least I hadn't stuffed it or anything. I put the 2020 on the end, and here is Oliver's ornament. And I think it's super cute, and I hope you think it's cute. Try doing your own pets. You can do, if you have an orange cat, use orange felt or gray felt or black felt or whatever color your pet is. If you have a dog, just do a dog-shaped head, or you can do a guinea pig-shaped head or whatever. But this is a great way just to have your pets hanging on your tree, because it's cute and handmade, and its imperfections are the best part. So thank you for joining me this week for Art Club. I hope you had a good time. I hope you made something with me. If you did, please take a picture and send it into the library's social media. We love to see what you do. And I will see you next week for more Art Club. Bye.